What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today it's time for yet another Master Rank Call of Weapon comparison. In this video, I'm going to be comparing the Kjarr Strong Arm Crusher to our current Meta Blast Charge Blades. These sets are going to compare SAAD Caveman Unga Bunga style play, as the Crusher's lower raw and white sharpness means that for Savage Axe, Safi and Raging Bracky really leave it in the dust. First, I just want to show you how the in-game raw stacks up here, comparing the Crusher to Safi full attack, Safi with 1 sharpness 5, which is the charge blade that I use for my artillery secret sets that do not have Master's Touch, and the Raging Brachidios charge blade. As you can see, it loses to all of them, however the damage seems close enough that it might be viable. So let's take a look into the deeper math. The sets we're going to be comparing today are a mix of Master's Touch and Agitator Secret, and do not include Offensive Guard. This is for 2 main reasons. 1, it's almost impossible to fit in without sacrificing other crucial skills, and 2, it's not a skill that can have 100% uptime or near it like Agitator, and the inconsistency in its uptimes would throw off the numbers across the compared runs. And another disclaimer, these sets do not have identical skills, but I tried to make the important skills like Agitator, 100% crit, artillery focus, etc. all match up as closely as possible in order to give the best comparison. So first up, we have Safi's Shatter Shield, which comes in at 105% crit with 744.74 EFR, 7 effective status, and 403 true raw. This set is really strong and has the highest damage files of any charge blade. Next up is the Light Break charge blade, which comes in at exactly 100% crit with Agitator active, and it gains 38 EFR at 782.29 and gains 1 effective element, and only loses by 1 true raw, coming in at 402. So these two are practically equal with just a 1 true raw difference, meaning that the numbers will be nearly identical when you're hitting with files and whatnot. However, Raging Bracky's hits a little bit harder on melee attacks due to your purple sharpness modifier. Now onto the Crusher. This thing comes in at 105% crit, same as Safi with Agitator active, but it has an abysmal 678.22 EFR, which is over 100 behind Raging Brachidios and nearly 70 behind Safi. However, it does come with 18.8 effective status, which is 2.69 times that of the Raging charge blade, but it also drops 35 true raw down to 367. This is also maxed out with custom upgrades and has an attack and health augment. And its true status is double that of the other two, but this doesn't necessarily translate into double the blast procs in a hunt. So blast scales the more you go on, each blast takes more than the last, meaning they get progressively harder to get the further your fight goes. I know most of you already know this, but it's a really important detail, so I'm covering it anyway. This does technically translate to more blasts per hunt for the Crusher, but not by enough to make up the huge raw difference. So let's drop into a hunt and see how the EFR and true raw differences stack up to fight. We're going to be going for Crusher versus Safi, as the Safi and Bracky are really essentially equal. So we're going to be looking at 2 SAADs per charge blade. One is going to be while Banburrow is not enraged, and there's going to be one where he is enraged to take use of Agitator 7. All 4 SAADs will take place when Banburrow is KO'd, and I will use the same sets that I showed before. I ate for Attack Up Large and Feline Bombardier to boost file damage, and I did not eat for any other attack skills. I used a mod in order to keep Banburrow's health consistent, so the damage modifiers of the quest are identical, meaning that this is a really optimal testing ground. As you can see in the opening, both boulder drops hit for 798, which means that Banburrow's health is the same for both. So starting off with the non-enraged SAAD, here you can see Banburrow is down in a KO, and the Crusher's SAAD hits for 542 plus 364 on the melee and 122 per file. This gives us a total damage and an SAAD of 1,548. Now you can see the same thing with Safi's CV. When the SAAD hits, we see that we get 485 plus 379 on the melee and 131 per file. This maths out to 1,650 per SAAD. This gives Safi a 102 or a 6.59% damage increase per SAAD over the Crusher when monsters are not enraged. So now let's move on to the comparison when Banburrow is enraged. So starting off with the Crusher, you can see once again that Banburrow is KO'd and he is enraged. When the SAED hits, the melee damage is 551 plus 431, and each of the files hits for 138. This gives us a total SAED damage of 1,810. Now looking at Safi, unfortunately my Tenderize had run out, so the melee damage is a little bit lower, but the files are hitting for 147 each. When we add all this up, we get 1,776 per SAED, which is less than 40 below the Crusher. However, if we multiply the old melee damage increase by the Kjarr Crusher melee increase, which is about 20.3431%, we can estimate that if I had managed to do this on a Tenderized spot, the melee damage would have been up to 596 plus 480, which boosts our total damage up to 1,958 per SAED. So for Enrages, if we use the numbers that I just got, the Safi Charge Blade does 148 or 8.18% more damage. I know this is a little hefty on the math, but the increased file damage and how close the SAED damage is without it even being tenderized for Safi should really tell the whole story. So unfortunately, its innate crit status and high blast just doesn't quite make up the difference, but it really does bring it close. I'd say that this Charge Blade is probably within 5% of Safi'jiiva and Raging Brachy Charge Blades. So if you're wanting to use it, go ahead. It certainly isn't a bad Charge Blade. I just wouldn't say that it's the best. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. You can feel free to go back and double check those sets if you want to make those yourselves. If you did like the video, feel free to drop a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't. I wish you all a good day and happy hunting.